This is Stacey McKibben with the Master Communicator podcast, where CEOs, senior leaders, and C-suite executives share their advice. It's 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best leaders know how to share their ideas concisely and quickly. Let's jump right in. Question number 1. In a few sentences, tell me who you are and what you do.
I'm Marc Hankin, and I'm a patent attorney, but none of that really tells you much about me. Really, what I like is what my clients think about me. They would say that I never do anything wholeheartedly. I jump in with both feet. If a client needs their patent, trademark, or copyright either registered or protected, defended, enforced, that's something that we'll do for them. But we do it from a position of caring. We really care about our clients and give them much more. I treat my clients like they're a family member or a good friend, and I give them the advice I would if they were that to me, because that's what I think. And of course, when colleagues need referrals, I always try to give them a sweet spot referral to make sure that I put people in the right position, not just send them anybody that fits in the Rolodex, but really figure out who the right fit is to send over to them. And if there's any word that describes me best, I think people would say I'm caring. It's not a word you usually expect to have from attorneys. I can be tough when I need to be, but I do care about my clients and I do care about my colleagues, and I try to help them make their worlds better.
Wow, brains and heart. What don't you have, Mr. Hankin? And he gives good hugs too, just for those of you out there who ever need a good hug.
Not these days.
That's true. Social distance, Mark. Keep your social distance. All right. Question number 2 for you. What's the best thing about leading people from your perspective?
Seeing them become the best version of themselves. You know, just earlier today, I was on a Zoom meeting with a whole bunch of people, and a woman did a great presentation, great intro. And on the chat, I said to her, "Hey, that was really wonderful. You did a great job." She said, "Look, I just modeled myself on you. You came to our group a year and a half ago and really impressed me, and I've been following your lead." Nothing makes me happier than that. I've got some young adult children, and I've gotten to know some of their friends over time. And I love when I hear their friends using lines that I quote often, because that means that not only have my children internalized this themselves, but they've gone around and subconsciously teaching their friends who've internalized it, and then it comes out. And nothing can make me more proud than that.
That's awesome. You're just like paying it forward and seeing your, all these great ideas you're leaving all over the place, making a difference.
Exactly.
Question 3. I often hear from other leaders that business would be great if it weren't for that pesky people part. I'm curious, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I don't really find people pesky. I mean, there are some that are, but for the most part, for me, it's the people that make it a rich environment. It's our differences that add flavor to what we do. And, when I have people, figuring out how to leverage them or how they can leverage one another, figuring out how the differences make a successful firm or successful business. And people have challenges, and recognizing their challenges is really part of how to be successful, because if you can see what they need and provide it for them, they're going to be better off and you're going to be better off. So I don't find it as pesky as maybe others do.
I know it's all part of the game, right? And it's like we need to embrace it and, work with it as opposed to resist it.
Right.
So what other successful business leaders like yourself should be on my podcast, right? I'm thinking, who else should we be paying attention to?
Sure. So I'll give you a little hit list. Carol Marzook, the executive lion tamer, whom I know you know. Mm-hmm. Jonathan Fitzgerald, Equinox Strategy Partners. He's an attorney marketing coach, best in the breed. Gary Johnson, also a business development coach, works with attorneys and other service providers. Really fantastic guy. Jason Cement, Get Visible. He's websites and SEO. Jason is a brilliant guy, has lots of talents, lots of degrees, really interesting person. Justin Breen of Epic Marketing in Chicago is absolutely top of his game. Somebody you should for sure get to know and interview. And then also from Chicago, Kelly Johnson of the Ballast Group. She's a storyteller and spends a lot of time in San Diego. In fact, she was supposed to be down here last month, but got canceled by COVID. But those are 6 people that I think you should have on your show, and I think you'd learn a lot from them, and you'd also like them as people.
The best people to learn from, right, are the ones that you can respect and have an enjoyable experience with. I think you take more away.
Without a doubt.
That's great. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. What piece of advice about communication would you give to other leaders?
Don't be afraid to have tough conversations while it's still a small issue and easily fixable. It doesn't go away if you just hope so. And sometimes you have to bring it up. Leading is leading, and sometimes you have to lead down a dark road before you can get through to the other side where the light is.
I love that. So I'm assuming you didn't just start your practice, that you've been doing this for quite some time.
I've been doing it 32 years, my own firm 16 years, and 8 years in this office. So it's sort of a nice little numerical thing going on now. But I've got a lot of years of experience in doing what I do.
Yeah. So, I mean, you would think about that over all this time. And again, as you think about all the learnings, these are the ones that bubble up to the top. And that's what I really want people to take away is, after, 32 years, 16 years, 8 years of doing something, these are the things that you find are the most important ones. Because I think, we hear a lot about over communication, but I love the idea of getting to it fast, getting to it early, and addressing it while it can still be, salvaged or saved. In a lot of cases, sometimes we let things go too long.
Yes.
I love that. Back to question number 6. Tell us about your favorite boss or teacher. Who's really influenced you?
No doubt. 2 weeks ago, my father would have turned 80. He died a year and a half ago, and was a great man. At one point at 26, he was the youngest president of a college in the history of the United States, was president of college for 47 years, 43 of them in the same school. And although he never once called it networking, never once said, let me teach you a lesson, I learned from him at 6 years old to put my badge on the right side so when you shake, it faces. He took me to my first Rotary meeting when I was 7. One day I sat in his office and watched him raise $6 million in an afternoon when back in the 70s, that was real money. And he needed to get money for the budget shortfall. He knew enough people to call. He knew the right people to call. My dad would always send out little articles or notes. He had a note on his desk from the desk of Joe Hankin, and he would sign it and send you something, thought you'd be interested in this. He was always keeping in touch with people and always he knew people well enough to know what they were interested in. He cared about people enough to really pay attention to them. And I learned all of that by osmosis. It was truly remarkable. He influenced generations of students, professors, administrators. He taught the only class at Columbia University Teachers College in community college education, and almost every president of every community college, every 2-year school across the United States either studied under my dad or knows my dad, learned from him. And I learned by watching and learning how to be a really wonderful connector. And if you just care about other people and just try to make their lives better, it enriches you in ways you never imagined it would.
That's beautiful. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And Mark, it's always so wonderful to hear your ideas and your personality. I'm sorry, even though you're miles away, like you just can't you can't clamp it down, man. Like it just, your gregariousness comes right through. So don't worry about that. How can people find you if they want to reach out and say hi or learn more about you, or heck, pick your brain more?
Probably the best way is just jump into LinkedIn, send me a request. I have over 10,000 connections and easy to find. I've got a pretty good website, HankinPatentLaw.com, and you can find that. And you can just email me, mark@HankinPatentLaw.com, or find me. If you go into LinkedIn, I think I have my phone number there, my cell phone number there, as well as my email address. And you can just Google me.
That's awesome. Well, again, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time today.
My pleasure, Stacey. Thank you.
And this is Stacey McKibben with the Master Communicator Podcast. For more ideas and insights, please do go check us out at www.concilioteam.com. We look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care.
Take care.